So wait. Did y'all hear that? This video is brought to you by Extreme Tees. Click on the link below. Make sure you put Kevin in the promo code and you'll get a 20% discount. Now, inflation is a thing of the past, right? But last month, inflation in the US had the highest rise in 29 years. So with rising food and gas costs, it's an urgent problem if you're thinking about retiring soon. You need an inflation dam in order to stop your savings and assets from eroding in value. NobleGo's expertise in retirement planning and IRAs means their team of specialists is your first stop. Call them about this month's offer of a 1-ounce American Eagle pure silver proof coin with an IRA at 877-646-5347. That is 877-646-5347. Now, let's get back to this video. What's up, America? Kevin from Kevin's Corner, where I try to make sense out of nonsense. And I don't mean to be coming to y'all this late at night. I know some of y'all are tuckered out. I know some of y'all are sound asleep. Some of y'all might even have your stocking caps on. But you know it's bad when I gotta wake y'all up over some nonsense. When I gotta just stop what I'm doing, because I was supposed to be cleaning. I got dust all on me and look at this. But somebody sent me something, y'all. And I'm sorry, I'm in the middle of eating a cough drop and all that now, you know. Gotta clear it out. Okay, now, somebody sent me some mess and I had to stop what I was doing. I said to myself, what? What in the crap is that? What? You ever have somebody do something that they think is gonna be nice? Somebody buy you a present and they think it's gonna be wonderful. Think you're gonna love it. Oh yeah, you gonna love this. And you crack that mug open and you like, what is this mess? And they can see it in your eyes like, oh, you don't like it, do you know? No, I don't like it. You ever have somebody tell you something and they think you're gonna celebrate it and you don't? You ever have somebody come to you like they're about to school you, about to tell you a thing or two about yourself, and at the end of it all, you're going, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. You came to me trying to enlighten me and drop some heavy knowledge, and all you just did was expose how dumb you are. That's all you've done. You have exposed how dumb you really are. So somebody did that tonight. So I'm supposed to be having this little discussion with one of my fellow brothers around, Youngstown. I mean, he's really into the pro-black thing, which is cool. If you have the knowledge, the perspective, the temperament, there's nothing wrong with helping the black community. See, I personally have done a lot in my life to help the black community. Black young men, black young women, kids, you name it. But I don't just say, you know what, I'm all about just black folks. I'm about Americans. So if a white man needed my help, white woman, I would help them too. If white kids needed my help, I would help them too. I'm also about Christians. See, as a Christian, that shit trump everything. You shouldn't be walking around going, let me just look for black folks. How about you look for humans, okay? You look for folks that need help. But granted, if I can, because I'm black, yes, I can identify with the black culture. I can identify with the black struggle. So absolutely, I'm focused on that too. But I'm not walking around so pro-black that I miss everything else going around me. And I'm also not so pro-black that I allow other folks to take advantage of that pro-blackness and cause me to become stupid, cause me to start focusing on that so much to where I start seeing racism and everything. And that's not just for black angry folks, it's for white liberals as well, which this is about to go right down the street of this white liberal. So this brother sent me a video on Facebook, and I guess it was supposed to chastise me and open up my eyes, give me an epiphany of a white cop, an ex-white cop. Okay, I'm glad it's ex. So it says, white police officer explains why blacks are being killed. Hear it from an ex-police officer, why they keep killing black people in the United States. Now, I saw this and I said, well, you know what? I'm excited to see this. I want to hear about this, man, because I'm curious of why they've been killing all these black folks in the United States. Now, I'm waiting for a whopper. I'm sitting there saying to myself, this ex-white cop must have some intel that I'm going to be like, whoa, I had no idea that was really systemic racism. You mean to tell me they have morning meetings and the chief comes, all right, guys, you know the goal and objective today, to go out and focus on killing nothing but black men, okay? We're being overran. It's too many of them. So no matter what they do or don't do, just kill them with impunity. Don't worry. We'll cover it up. That's our mission. Okay, everyone, have a great day. That's what I'm thinking this man is about to reveal. That's what I'm thinking. But instead, this dude starts to reveal something else. So let's go ahead, y'all, so I can destroy this man. And it's so funny because everything that this dude who sent this clip to me intended it to do backfire. It only proved my point. So here we go, y'all. Let's listen to this ex-police officer explain why black men are being killed every day.
Hey friends, and well, let me be honest, probably before this video is over, some of you will consider me as an enemy. But I wanted to share a couple minutes about my thoughts. Now,
did I say he was a white man? I did explain that. See, they wouldn't be sending me this if it wasn't a white man. See, the whole point of this is hear it from a white man. That's what you need to do. Not only just a white man, but an ex-white man who is a cop. He know. And I'm thinking to myself, so what? I've seen a lot of white folks out there lately that's trying to connect, relate, I guess, be an advocate against all this discrimination. An advocate for black folks, and all they end up doing is really degrading black folks, really belittling black folks, really exposing how stupid and ignorant they are. So just because he was a white man and a former cop, I wasn't impressed. I wanted to hear the substance. So here's the substance.
Only on the tragedies that we have been experiencing over these past months, and especially these last couple of days, with the shootings of our black men.
Our black men? Shooting of our black men. Okay, so here we go. Here we go down this road again. So apparently this ex-cop, he's talking about some incident. I didn't even get a chance to check and see what black shooting he's talking about. I don't even know the date of this. It had to be within the last 4 years or so. I don't know. Maybe it's current, maybe it's past. But either way, it don't matter. It don't matter, because there's no time in the last God knows how many decades that there have been a large amount of black men killed in droves to support this current narrative that black men are being hunted every single day by white police officers. I cannot remember a time since Willie Lynch and the real Jim Crow, when those Democrats was working overtime all night long, singing Lionel Richie, and they don't even like black folks. All night long, all night, all night long. They was out working overtime, killing black folks. I ain't heard about a large amount of black folks being killed like that since those days. So what era is this man talking about? So, you know what? Let's not judge. Let's keep going.
But what I'm coming to learn over my 23-year journey of being a white man, living and ministering amongst my black family.
So 23 years of journey being a white man. You ain't learned nothing. All you have done is went backwards. This man right here, if this was evolution, he'd be going back to being a slug. He would be going back to the jellyfish stage, talking about some my 23 years of being a white man. See, these white liberals, man, they swear up and down they're receiving this epiphany all of a sudden about their whiteness. It took them all this time to realize how evil they really are. Now, you know, what kills me with all of this is all of these white liberals who claim that they're so evil, and they've had this awakening of how evil they are and how they, personally, I guess, contributed to the atrocities of all these black folks. What are you doing about it? What are you doing about it besides running around talking this type of crap, making folks mad, and throwing yourself under the bus? Are you just trying to get on our good side? Are you trying to snuggle up to the brothers and make them think that, you know what, y'all aren't like the rest of the systemically white nationalists running around the country? You've admitted that you're a racist, therefore you're different than them. You haven't done anything to help the black community. You haven't done anything to give over all of your white privilege. So just the fact that you acknowledge that makes you better than the rest of the white folks who won't accept that they're responsible for all of the racism and all of the crap that black folks have been through throughout the history of our country, because they won't admit that, because they won't look you in your eyes and say, you're right, I'm a white nationalist and I'm racist and I'm no good, I'm no good. Just because they won't give you that superficial confession, you know, I guess they're not as good as these white liberals who that's all they do. It's just confess. You got folks out there pushing this garbage, like Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, they don't donate. They don't go into the hood. They don't help black businesses. They don't frequent black communities except when it is time to campaign. Yeah, they show up then. Yeah. They don't do nothing. When you look at their history dealing with black folks, it's negative. Only in word and not in deed. And yet, these folks are still voting for these people, and the white liberals who bought into this are just giving virtue signal. That's it. I'm no good. Black folks, they struggle. And white folks, we're the problem. No, you're not the problem. Yeah, you're the problem now because you bought into this crap and you're now helping the Democrats and other globalists and liberals and a whole bunch of Marxists implement this crap into our country and divide us. So yes, you are the problem now, but you're not responsible for what took place 200 years ago, not even 60 years ago. But yet, here he is. And this is going to make me so mad right here because he about to bring in the Bible. If you're going to make an argument and you're going to bring in the Bible, you better properly use it.
Here in several inner cities of Chicago, and I'm going to speak very black and white because, let's be honest, it's a black and white issue.
Y'all hear that pun? That play on words? I'm going to speak. First of all, get that lisp out of your voice. I'm going to speak black and white because let's just say for it's a black and white issue. Is it? Is it really? So now here's this man talking about it's a black and white issue. So here we go. Let's find out this black and white.
I want to take you to the book of Exodus, chapter 1, and I wanted to share a little bit of what took place prior to the rise of Moses. When I read that, it talked about that the Pharaoh became concerned and very fearful.
Now this man done went to preaching. Go with me to the book of, don't know nothing about it. Go with me to the book of Moses. People sitting there going, is the book of Moses, is that a book? Wait a minute. Okay. When God said, let those black folk, wait. Was it pretty black or the Jews? Let those people go. And God said, Pharaoh, let my people go. So here he is preaching to us about Pharaoh and comparing these black folks to the Jews back then, the Hebrews, okay? So now let's see where this is going because I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, okay, let's wait until we call his text. And let's see, maybe, sometime when preachers get, going, you wonder how they're going to make the connection and tie it all in. It'd be seeming sometimes like, okay, what does this got to do with the Bible? So I'm waiting for him to tie it in.
That the Hebrew slaves were growing in number and in power. So in order to maintain their oppression, he put upon them great labor. He put upon the Hebrew slaves cruelty to keep them down. However, they still grew. And so he brought together some midwives and he instructed them that when a Hebrew boy was born, kill him.
Oh, now y'all hear that? When the Hebrew boy was born, kill him. Now I think I know which direction he's going in this, okay? Because see, he's now starting to talk about how the Hebrews grew, and apparently he's making a comparison to the slaves that came over here and how they began to grow in numbers as well. Now, I got a couple concerns about his comparison and his text that he has called, okay? Let's go ahead and see where he goes with this because see, as he's talking about the Hebrews that start to grow and Pharaoh wanting to kill them because they were growing, I guess he's trying to update that and bring it to this day and age. So let's see then where he goes with this before I destroy him. Because if he's talking about how Pharaoh wanted to kill all of those Hebrew boys that were born, then maybe he might want to check with that Democrat Party who is responsible for Planned Parenthood. They support that mess. They strategically put those in black neighborhoods, and those are responsible for more deaths of black babies than slavery as a whole. Let me see the stats here. Okay. All right. So the percentage of Planned Parenthood surgical abortion facilities in minority neighborhoods. Okay. 79%. 79% of Planned Parenthoods are strategically put in black neighborhoods. And I wonder why. And yet this guy's talking about, he's describing the Democrat Party history. That's what he's doing right here. He don't even realize it. And I guarantee you, this dude votes democratically, because he done bought into the Democrat narratives. So here he is talking about how they want to kill all the black kids. Are you trying to tell me, and I'm just speculating, are you trying to infer that these random, sporadic, every blue moon killings of an unarmed black man is the source that they're using to stop the growth of black men? Because surely you're not using that to tell me that the secret plan of the white man is to kill all these black folks very sporadically. Every blue moon, you know what, let me see, 2019 or 18 or so of them, I don't know, somewhere around there, 9 or 10 or 9, somewhere around there. They're way behind. They are behind schedule. I mean, heck, there's at least about, look, a good 2,000 or 3,000 babies born a day. Man, you need to pick it up a bit. If you killing about 10 a year and all these babies just popping out, you got your work cut out for you. So this guy, apparently, because he started off, remember, you got to stay with the context. He started this argument off talking about the killings of these unarmed black men, or these black men, okay? So now I'm assuming, as he's giving us this analogy and calling this text, he's talking about that. Because see, if I was smart, which I am, I would think abortion of black babies kill way more than these cops. Now I'm just wondering, but let's continue to go.
Well, these midwives did not follow, and the Hebrew slaves continued to grow. Eventually, the Pharaoh became so hatred towards those Hebrew slaves that he made a decree. He put out an order that male baby boy Hebrew slaves were to be killed by casting them into the Nile River.
Oh, okay. So I think he is going with that. I think he is trying to go down that road of somehow our government has systematically and strategically designed a way to eliminate or suppress the growth of black men through having our systemically white nationalist racist police officers kill them at a very, very slow rate. Very slow. So I'm sure, because I mean, I would hope that he was intelligent. He got on a police force somehow, even though he's no longer with them. That could be why he's not with them. Because as you listen to this idiot right here, come up with this and try to compare and make this connection of why these black men have been killed without no background, without no results of why they were killed. This Jew just throwing this crap out there. So as I listen to him, I have to question his intelligence. Because hopefully he's not going down that rabbit hole. But let's see.
Let's look at America. We brought blacks into this country as slaves.
Excuse me, Mr. Lisp having Caucasian man. You didn't do nothing. This man, we brought black into this country as slaves. No, you didn't. And this is why they're falling for this garbage. They have been brainwashed to think that they were there, man. They were there. You know, I was there when we went over to Africa and got all those slaves from other black people. Yeah, I was there. When all those other black folks brought those black slaves down to the dock and sold them to us. I was there, man. I was there when we were on that boat and throwing those slaves off that boat and whipping them. I was there when we put them on the blocks. I was there when we broke them and made them bale that hay and pick their cotton. I was there, man. I was there when they finally got their freedom and we said, heck nah, man. I'll be darned if I let these folks vote in our country. Let's form that KKK and take back our country, man. I was there. So apparently this guy was a part of this. Maybe in another life. So he said we. Now, who is he referring to? Who, excuse me, class, anyone alive out there that was involved in all of that? No? So he is casting all of this guilt and history on y'all that had nothing to do with this. So here we go. Let's listen.
We never intended them to be anything other than a slave.
Who's we? Again, see, once again, he said we never intended. So find me just a handful of white folks right now who still think that, who still is going, you know what? Shit, I don't even know why these black folks running all around this country. Heck, they shouldn't even be human beings. They're supposed to be slaves. Find me a white person walking around, and even a racist white person probably don't think that. They probably are saying, you know what, I just don't like black people, and I don't want them around me, and I don't want them having the stuff that I have. But to go to the point where you're saying that there are folks out there alive today still saying, I don't want black folks to be nothing else but slaves. Somehow they escaped their destiny. Their destiny was supposed to be nothing but slaves. We're in trouble. This country, I feel like, the stereotypical white nationalist, this country is going to hell in a handbasket. Not because of racism, but because of stupidity.
But they began to grow in number and in power, and eventually they fought their way to some freedom.
Oh, really? So, if I'm getting this right, the slaves alone formed a revolt and fought their way to some type of freedom. No white folks had nothing to do with that. No Abraham Lincoln, none of that. No civil war that took place where white folks died for the freedom of slaves. No, none of that. No factoring in the Republicans that actually fought for, abolishment of slavery. No factoring in white folks who supported those black folks who were actually lynched and killed with them. No, none of that. It was just the black folks. Now, imagine how history could have been changed if you didn't have an Abraham Lincoln that came along. I'm not saying that black folks wouldn't have eventually became free, but how much longer do you think it might have taken for this to happen? Now we go from in the 1800s or whatever, we might have gotten our freedom in the early 19s, mid 19s. Who knows? Who knows? Because see, those Democrats were adamant about keeping us on that plantation. So apparently all of this stuff did happen. All of the slaves that fought and resisted slavery. It wasn't until Lincoln and other white allies that were opposed to slavery jumped on board and started to help them and added resources and gave guns. What about that NRA that was making sure that the black folks had guns, which the Democrats now want to take away? But that NRA was supplying some black folks guns. Hey man, defend yourself. I wonder if this white ex-cop is thinking about the fact that when they start talking about gun restrictions, that was those Democrats wanting to make sure that black folks weren't able to have those guns. And yet they're still doing it to this day. Interesting. But now here's this guy talking about they fought their way to some freedom. Now, there was a lot of black hardcore slaves who died trying to be free before Lincoln and all of them guys. But they weren't able to ever successfully get their freedom without that assistance. It took black and white. But this dude is trying to just exclude any white person who looked at slavery as immoral. He's basically saying every white person in the whole country, throughout the history of the country, all loved slavery. They all supported slavery. They all, no. Find me a Republican back in those days who owned a slave. Can you? I'm looking. I'm wondering. See, so now here's this dude is casting that guilt and that history on everyone. And this is the problem with this crap. But let's continue so I can finish destroying this man. And I'm going to send this video, this live stream, to the dude who sent me this crap, thinking I was going to be impressed, y'all. Thinking I was going to be like, man, I called it all wrong. Man, I better reevaluate my whole view of life. Man, are you kidding me? What are you talking about, dude?
So we became even more cruel, and to keep our black Americans down, we lynched, but yet they rose.
And to keep our black Americans down, we lynched. Now he's trying to get deep and trying to sound like Martin Luther the King. Still I rise. No, that's the one lady, Still I Rise. What was her name? The poet. Yeah, man, and Still I Rise. All right, so now here he is getting all deep. And he's saying, we lynched. Who's we? Once again, see, I'm gonna put that we in two categories. First things first, when you say we, there's no one right now, responsible for what Willie Lynch and all of those Democrats were doing. And here he is talking about we. But secondly, those were not Republicans or conservatives. Those were Democrats. So don't be talking about some we. It's funny to me how the party and the people that support that party are always woofing about racism constantly, but they never stop to think who was responsible for all of that oppression and racism of the past. They always distribute the racism amongst all white people. They always try to pretend that no, No, it wasn't just it was all white people back then. Don't be blaming them. If I'm a white man who didn't grow up in the South or whatever, my family has no ties to slavery, or my family fought against slavery, some of my ancestors died so some of the slaves can be free. If I'm a white guy and I hear this dude saying this mess, I'm ready to go in his mouth. I'm saying, no, man, don't be putting that mess on me. But this is where we're at. Stupid people.
So then we use the welfare system.
Whoa. Once again, objection. Let me get my smart glasses on. Excuse me, dumb man. I gotta ask the dumb man a question or two. Excuse me, dumb man. Now, I noticed you said we use the welfare system. Would you mind elaborating on that? Because from my records, it sounds to me like those type of systems were implemented by the Democrat Party. Those type of systems were strategically designed by LBJ, what is his, Lyndon B. Johnson? Yeah, that guy. The one that said we're going to have those you-know-whats voting for us for the next 200 years. Is that what he meant? How they destroyed the black community, broke up the family unit, made sure those black fathers couldn't be in that house, gave incentive to all of those black mothers to not only have a man out the house, but to keep dropping buns. That's right. Dropping a bun every couple years and getting a little more cheese. Kick them off some scratch. Keep them on that plantation. All they did was updated their tactics of slavery. So are you talking about the Democrats, or are you trying to imply all white people? Are you trying to imply that it was the Republicans too? Because from my records, it appears that the Republicans and conservatives were trying to empower the black people so that they can be independent and not codependent on the system. So when you say we, are you still talking about all white people, including you? Okay, so let's continue.
The criminal justice system.
Oh, there we go. Whoop, objection. Excuse me. You just brought up the criminal justice system. Are you aware that Joe Biden was the one who came up with that crime bill, and Hillary Clinton and all of them? Because remember, they had incentives to lock up those black men as they got kickbacks from those prisons that the buddies and stuff were on it. Are you talking about those guys? See, this is the stuff. This is the ignorance. And you know what I saw on that thread that the guy sent me? I saw a whole bunch of black folks giving this dude clout. That's what I'm just, thank you for your bravery. No, thank you for your stupidity. Thank you for your bravery. You know, it takes more, you know what, I wish more white people would step up to the plate. And I'm going, see, he's bathing and bathing all in all the glory. Look at me, the black people love me. I'm so woke that I'm asleep. I'm so woke that I'm walking around with my hands out in a trance. That's how woke this dude is. And yet, the same folks who's praising this dude, I'm saying, do you realize he's talking about the people that you vote for? When he's talking about this history, and he's talking about, the prisons and Jim Crow and Willie Lynch and murdering black men, I'm going, he's describing the parties that you ignoramuses are voting for. He's describing the history of the Democrat Party. He's describing the people who's running around telling y'all to tear down all the statues of their heroes of the past of the Democrat Party. He's describing those people. I hated to have to. I bet you this guy, when he sees this video, he'll be like, why did I ever send that video to Kev? I thought it was going to turn out in a good way. But yeah, he's giving it to me. And I am. And I'm not done yet.
To keep them down, to contain them, to destroy them, but yet...
Prisons, Democrats, keep them down, contain them. Democrat-ran cities, poor education, no school choice, making sure they remain mad, making sure they remain codependent on government assistance, make sure they remain politically ignorant so you can't vote any other way. And this dude is talking about to contain them, and he's a part of the problem. He doesn't even realize it. And you know the sad part? This guy, he's not a politician, at least as far as I know. Most likely in his mind and in his heart, he really believes this. Most likely he thinks I'm doing a good thing. I'm fighting against injustice as I expose how ignorant I am. It's sad, really. as he destroys and throws his own race under the bus. He's not looking at us as Americans. He's not giving a solution, and he's not done, because it gets worse.
They rose and they're rising.
Now he's preaching, they rose and they're rising.
Then we built prisons and jails to hold them. Yet they rose.
Yet I rise. Oh my gosh. Man, it's almost not, granted, I get sick of watching these race baiting, mad for nothing black folks that they use on TV to push this mess. But it burns me up even more when I see a white liberal, and not a politician, not a person in the news. That's what they get paid to do. You know, they're paid for propaganda. It's the common man like this who adopts this mentality. And I say, how did they get to you? I mean, do you understand what it would take for them to manipulate one's mind to make them just attack themselves like they're cancer? These white liberals are becoming a cancer unto themselves. They're turning on themselves. They are saying, you know what? I believe in self, guilt, hatred, blame, all of that. Forget sin. Now, it has nothing to do with everybody is born in sin and we all got to repent over something. I'm going to take on the burden of oppression and racism beyond my control, beyond my lifespan. I wasn't involved in it, but I got to bear that burden. I can never relieve myself of this sin. Now you're greater than God. Now your assessment of yourself is higher than God. Okay. So instead of looking at things and say, yeah, that was a messed up period in our history, and right about now, every human is an individual that has an accountability to their own individual sins, choices, thoughts, behaviors, all of that stuff. Now, all of a sudden, you want to say, there is no repenting from this. This right here, God, is greater than you. You can't handle all of this history and racism that I wasn't even involved in. I had nothing to do with, but I'm going to walk around and condemn myself for it. I'm going to throw that albatross around my own neck. And yet he's using the scriptures to do it. Now, God bless y'all. Don't forget to hit that like button, share my videos. Also, don't forget to donate if you like Kevin's Corner. There are links in the bottom of this video. Check out Extreme Teas, my sponsor. If you like the products, put Kevin in the promo code. You'll get a 20% discount. And what else? Oh, find me on Rumble in the Jungle. All right, God bless you all next time in Kevin's Corner. Take care.